I'm Shannon.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Becky.
And we're the Band Moms.
Band is so incredibly inclusive.
Absolutely,
Everybody has a home. If that doesn't explain band in a nutshell, that's 100%. What it is. It's a family.
The thing that I love is the kids and how they support one another.
We have all the details. We have all the tabs open.
Mm-hmm.
We're making sure all the things are complete. Right.
Someone will be there for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if not, you've got a band mom.
You got it.
We do. Yes.
We're there for you.
Yes.
This is Libby's night out, okay? We can be here as long as we want to.
Yes, shush all of
This is
you.
the first time I'm not doing bedtime in like 8 nights. So this
Oh,
is
that is such a, like, that alone. I tell you, like, I don't want to be responsible for it. Do something else.
I think she needs
A practice?
better intro though, like the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah. Well, then
Yes.
go
Yeah.
ahead,
Like
girlfriend.
No, I don't know.
Like that.
I don't have anything. I don't have a pen, so I need
Superwoman over here.
Oh gosh, please don't.
the superwoman behind
There
the
are-
Superman.
I guess I am prepared.
So
The lady
many.
at Trader Joe's was like, "You look like a woman who's always prepared." I was like, "Thank you."
Yes. Honestly, that's such a kind compliment. That is so.
Wow.
Just because I had my bags and I had something else, she was like, "Yeah." I was like,
You know what?
"Oh,
Once my kid is no longer a toddler, I hope to also I aspire to that.
Yeah.
I just was like-
and I keep the Sprouts bags in the car.
No,
I feel
just
like I go around and I just look like a hot mess. I'm
Well,
like,
no,
yeah.
I think I looked like a hot mess, but I don't know. I was like, well, I'm glad that I appear that way because
Yeah.
it's not.
Did you tell her like
The
that's such a
reality.
kind compliment? Yeah.
I think I was just taken aback. I was like, well, thank you.
The Band Moms are back, and we are so excited to have the superwoman behind our amazing band director, the glue that keeps everything together, the beautiful Libby Denny.
Yay.
Yay! I'm Shannon.
I'm Becky.
I'm Leah.
I'm Libby.
And we're the Band Moms.
So-
Guys,
Yay.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
We have a fourth band mom, as Leah said just a second ago, the mom of all of the band kids, Miss Libby Denny, our band director's amazing, amazing wife. Thank you for joining us.
Excited to be here with you, incredible women.
Yes,
Thank
we're
you for
super
being here.
happy that you joined us tonight to chat, play with Riley, eat
Yes.
some snacks.
Eat some snacks.
Have a drink.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Enjoy mom-free night
Yes.
for a little bit.
Yes.
Leave the 2-year-old at home.
Ex-
He
exactly.
gets to have some time with the band dad. It's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
For
Yes.
sure.
So we are going to do, this episode's really going to be, we're kind of set up. Shannon and I are on one side and Leah and Libby are on the other side. And we're going to talk about what it's like to be married to a band director.
Well, we thought we would push Leah over to the Libby side because,
Well, Leah and Libby, I mean, that's
It-
a
that-
good combination.
yes,
Leah
that's
Libby.
true. But, you were married to Scott.
I am.
I was
married.
gonna still
no, you were
married.
married to Scott when he was still a director.
He was.
Yes. So we thought you could speak a little bit on the wife of a band director.
Yes. So mine isn't, I don't have the extensive knowledge base because really he was only a band director for a year when we were married because then he ended up taking a year's leave of absence and finding a whole new career that's still in the band world, obviously. So I do have some experience and I've known a lot of band parents and a lot of band wives. So
So we lumped you into that side.
yes.
Yeah. So we just wanted to chat about what it was like being to a band director in general. And like you said, Leah, I know you have not as much experience as maybe Libby does, but just start us off with, some of the good, the bad, the ugly, maybe a little chaos.
Right. Well, I was thinking about this because I knew we were going to talk about this. So I was just thinking about, I think one of the things that's so interesting about being a band director is it's like being a CEO because they are just in charge of so much, right? So they're the head of it. And really being the teacher part seems like it's such a small component because they have, bosses over them too. They have, the principal and sometimes their department chair or whatever. But they have this whole structure underneath them where they have employees and, that are staff members. And then they have the students, which are different type of employees, I guess. And then they have all the parents, the booster club. And so it's just all these components that they are working with. And and that's just, off the top of my head. So the only thing is they don't make that C-suite money. But
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny that you say that, actually, because Miles says all the time that, if he could go back to school, he would find a completely different degree, not because he doesn't love music, but because so much of what he learned, he does not fully use right now, because, they didn't teach him in his college degree about budgeting or, running POs
Yes.
or managing a staff or all, those
Needs like a
interpersonal
minor in
relationships.
business or something.
Yes, exactly. And he's said that before, gosh, we need to add these things. And he also has said before, teaching the actual content is such a small part of my day to day. I am constantly sending, emails or dealing with, interpersonal relationships or managing, gosh, that floor got sent to California. Why is it there? Now I need to get a flight to go to Texas and go get props or whatever it is. So but honestly, I will say something that is great about my husband is that he really is the person who likes something new every day. I think he would be bored if he didn't have something, different. And it does play to his strengths in a lot of ways. As his wife, that's what I think. But he has always loved music, and he also really gets to do a lot of different things each day. He loves being able to put on different hats. So yeah, it's challenging for sure.
Yeah, and I would say, obviously, the audience knows Scott, that he has high energy, so he is a similar person, that personality that he likes to have all of those different things. And, he can juggle so many things at one time, wear all these different hats, because like you're saying, it's like, being a CEO, but you don't have an HR division.
Right. And you're learning, you're literally building the airplane as you're flying.
Yes.
And in some ways you have to figure out, gosh, some people do it this way, some band directors do it this way. And, trying to ask in the community and figure out, gosh, how do you handle this? Everybody's going to have a different answer, because so many band directors, they do just kind of have to figure it out and make it work. And, it is so much learning. I think sometimes, he does like wearing different hats. I think sometimes he wishes it weren't so challenging.
Yes.
Well,
but we'll get into that.
Gosh, it can be a lot of growth from season to season for sure. And just, you always learn something new and a way to do it differently, or, if I knew this then, I wish I could do it differently.
As we all say.
Yeah.
So you as Libby, when you met Denny, where in your season were you? Did you know he was already going to be a band director? Did you know signing up right away with him that this was the path you were going to take? So, explain you a little bit, what you've done, your life, all those things.
Yeah. So actually, Miles and I met in marching band in high school. We were both on the drum line. He played tenor. I played snare. He played tenor.
Go drum line.
All right.
Drum line.
Yes.
And it's so funny. Miles and I were never together in high school. He always had a girlfriend, or I always had a boyfriend, or whatever. But we were such good friends. He was my bus buddy. We sat next to each other on the bus, anywhere we were going. And he was just such a great friend. And I don't know if I knew that he wanted to be a band director at that time. He had known ever since he was in junior high. He had a really great junior high director, and he loved it. So I knew he loved band. He was taking English classes over the summer so he could fit more band into his schedule.
Oh my gosh.
He did his everything over the summer, because he had his entire schedule was pretty much band. He was in every ensemble, right? So, he was great, and he would always, encourage me to practice, and we would have time together. But yeah, so we both did college marching band. And then, when we got together, it was my first year teaching, because I actually was a Latin teacher before I was what I do now. And there's a lot of stories I could tell you. my college band director was incredible, and he, even though I had graduated, invited me to go on the Holiday Bowl trip, and that was where Miles told me, like, I'm gonna marry you someday. And so I knew that he was gonna be a band director because he was obviously in it for school. And yeah, I mean, it was an activity that had impacted both of our lives so positively. It was where we met, and wow, it was exciting to think that this activity that I loved so much could still be a part of my life, our lives, you know?
That's so fun.
He was teching at Basha actually as a drum tech. So we knew some of the kids, and, you know, I'd been to some of the games. So it was just, I don't know, it just made sense in a lot of ways. We both loved this activity. So
that's fun.
I think we need a time out for a second, because I would really love to one of these days put Libby on snare and Denny on tenor, and let's have a drum off.
Do you still practice?
Oh gosh, no.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think the kids would get a kick out of that.
That would be
Well, it's so funny because there were times when his drumline kids would talk to me about they're like, oh, what did you think? And I was like, oh gosh, well, that triplet roll wasn't exactly clean, but, you know, and they're like, how do you know? And I was like, well, you should probably work on your triplet grid, you know, or whatever. And they're like, how did you? I was like, oh,
maybe that could be an incentive for a fundraiser.
Oh, you know, maybe.
With the Denny's.
No,
they drum off with the Denny's. I love it.
I feel like that's not fair, though, because he works with the drums all the time.
He's so talented. No.
Well,
he went to school for it. I did not.
Well, and it's probably been a few years.
It would be really cute if you had like you and Magnus together, maybe. Like,
yeah.
you could be there, the Denny drum off.
You'd win just Magnus factor alone. So there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So I was still so mad at funny story. Miles, like I said, Miles and I never got together in high school, but my senior year, I wanted to take Miles to prom and his girlfriend wouldn't let me. I was so mad. But of course, because we were always good friends. But anyway, so I was like, man, someday you're going to have to take me to that second chance prom so we can actually go to prom together.
Aww.
That would be fun.
And have you been to prom?
No.
Since you were in high school?
No.
Because what's funny is like, actually, because Scott and I were teaching together, right? And when we were engaged and married for a year when we were still teaching together, and we chaperoned prom one year, and that was his first time at prom, so I was his prom date. Like,
okay, that's adorable.
So cute. He needs to chaperone
cute.
Prom. And
okay, so
go.
Funny story about that.
We have something.
Sean and made Miles chaperone prom one year, and actually Miles got a little bit in trouble because, you know, as a teacher, you're always supposed to chaperone like one outside of school event, like after hours event. And
he's like, I chaperone all of the after school, outside of school events, but
yeah, so his admin was like, Denny, how come you are never at any of these after school events? And he said, actually, yeah. So
okay.
He got roped in. He got told you have to do prom or homecoming. So he ended up at prom with Sean. So Sean was his prom.
There you go.
Shout out Sean.
Yeah. Shout out Sean.
Oh man. Well, prom's coming up, so
yes,
maybe you guys can go.
Maybe he'll listen to the podcast and decide to ask you.
Yes.
Miles, here's your chance.
Yes.
All right. Well, we talked a little bit about just being married to the band director in general, but let's talk a little bit about schedules and what that looks like. I know the seasons are crazy, not just for parents and the kids, but, you know, being a wife of a band director. Right. Do you even see your husbands?
That's so funny. You go first, Leah.
Well, again, it was just when we were very first married. I think I had shared before that at my first band camp was right when we came back for our honeymoon. So that was my first experience.
Welcome.
And so, yeah.
And so it just was a year really. And, you know, we didn't have any kids. So, I mean, I don't remember as much because again, Scott was like, he travels so much once he started this other job. And that was like, I feel like almost a little more stressful, but not that different probably than when he was gone all the time, you know? So yeah. I think they're just gone. And you just know that they're not around, especially during marching season, they're just not around. And, you know, Scott didn't he had winter guard, but he didn't have the indoor percussion. So he didn't have as much in the spring. So that wasn't as intense as what I'm sure you're dealing with.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just different. I mean, honestly, like I said, Miles has had this schedule ever since we've been married. I mean, so even when he taught elementary and junior high that first year, he was working at Basha. So we always had, multiple nights a week where we weren't seeing each other. And you do just kind of learn the rhythm of like, okay, I'm going to, we can't talk about certain subjects because it's going to be late at night, 10:30. I'm not going to bring this up, right? Because he's getting home late from rehearsals or late from competitions. And yeah, I mean, I think, gosh, I could talk about this so much. There's a lot there. Yeah, it's definitely challenging at times. I know I'm not the only person who lives a challenging schedule. I know there's other people in the world who also have a lot. So you really just try to figure out, okay, what are the things that we need to talk about to keep the house running?
Yep.
Like just normal, basic run-of-the-mill stuff. And then where do we find the rest and the joy and just those moments where we can just be with, present and with each other. And it really has changed so much now that we have our son, he's 2 years old. So it is really different for me. Back before we had kids, I could fill my time, alone very differently.
Right.
But now it's like, I'm landlocked by 6:30. So,
and the same routine all the time, every night.
And so sometimes there's really practical things like I've done bedtime, the last 5 nights, and he's a toddler, so he's changed so much. So if you're coming home and you want to do the bedtime routine, it's very different than what you might remember, or, he might not be used to you yet. Or so those kind of practical things, but then also like family birthdays, family, holidays, and trying to find friends who understand the band schedule. I think there was a girlfriend who I was, trying to build a relationship with, and she really wanted to see Miles, and she would always, do like a couple's date, and they would always offer Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And I was like, gosh, if you're asking between August and even April, between August and April, you're not going to get us those nights. And honestly,
call me on a Sunday.
If we do have a free night and it's a Friday night, like maybe it's Miles and I, so it's trying to find ways to like section off that time where we're not complete hermits, and make sure he can give time to people that he loves, and it's not just me, but also that we can have that time together when we want it, so yeah, it's a balancing act.
Well, and one thing I really want to commend you on is a lot of times during the fall, when we're doing Feed the Bears, you will bring Magnus over, and you will, even if it's a half hour before they have to go to the football field or whatever, grab dinner and you get to be a little family for that little bit of time. And sometimes I know one of the best things is like Halloween. We ended up having a football game on Halloween, and we did a bunch of stuff for the kids, but you guys just got to go over across the street to the neighborhood and just be a family for a half hour, 45 minutes. Worked out that he was only 2, so it's probably all he needed anyway, but
we went back to our neighborhood, and he went for like another hour.
He figured out Candy was involved and was like, we're going to do this.
Well, and everybody kept addressing him as Spider-Man, so he was so excited. He's like, yes, Mom, next house, I'm Spider-Man. But no, actually I was going to, it's so funny because, these are the parameters that we work with, right? Like the rehearsals aren't going to change. The game schedule, competitions, like this is, what our schedule is, and it's what our schedule has been. But like, what are the levers that I can pull as the wife to help, find ways to get more time with him, or just make sure that the time that we have together is really, positive. So yes, so that's actually something that we did recently. One of the, I guess, big levers that we pulled is we moved closer to the school. So that took a commute out, and that means that, I can come and see, a lot of times after I pick up Magnus from daycare, it's so funny. We drive by the school and he recognizes the bears and he'll go, Daddy Bears, Daddy Bears. So he wants to go, he'll go and see, Miles, and it's just, it's that 5 minutes, but he knows where his dad is. He gets to see him that day. And, it's, and honestly, it's so great because the high school band kids are so incredible. They're always so generous and kind. Every parent that sees us, they always say hi. And gosh, even the janitorial staff at Basha is so amazing. We love Isella. She always gives us Christmas gifts. She remembers Magnus. She gives him, it's so, it's just such a great community to be a part of. And I love that he gets to grow up around these kids.
Well, I will say that was kind of sad when, that Scott wasn't doing that anymore. And I think he felt that too, that our kids weren't going to grow up in the band room. you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
It can be a bad thing.
Well, that's true.
Miles or Magnus sometimes walks around like he owns the place. And I'm like, gosh, this is not your space. This is the high schoolers. Like, that's their instrument. Do not touch it, you know? But he's like, Daddy Bears, this is my house.
Right? Hello.
Love that.
Don't you know who my dad is?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, your kids, Leah, they ended up in band anyway.
Oh, well,
so
for sure. Well, they still, even though he wasn't a band director, we have the band world around us
Mhm.
their whole lives growing up. They've always been to band competitions and different events and concerts. And so that definitely is, you know, I was thinking though, when you were saying that, as the wife or whoever the spouse, I guess, you know, of the band director, that you are having to play to that schedule, you know, so you're the one that has to stop by and try and make those routines so that you can have more of a family. So it is a lot of work to do that. I mean, that reminds me, like when Scott was, you know, the kids were young and he was traveling so much, like you want to have that routine still set up because little kids need that. So like, you know, we would be at the table at dinner and we say a prayer before we eat.
Mhm.
And so we would go, oh, let's call Dad before. And like, so he could be a prayer for, you know, with us, or, you know, a certain thing at night, you know, like before they go to bed or whatever it is.
Yes.
You know, I felt like that's, you know, the wife or whatever the spouse is the one that has to really work to do that because that other person is so busy. The band director, so busy.
Yes. I always try to make sure that I'm bringing Magnus around so he can see his dad. And yes, exactly. Just really trying to, make sure that we make that time.
Right.
And I mean, it has been challenging for sure. I know because, gosh, I think about, you know, we had this funny story. Miles' sister got married. She was actually one of the last weddings before everything shut down for COVID.
Okay.
And it was on the weekend that Bipe was going to be in Temecula. So
Oh, no.
Miles was not going to be there. So what we actually did is we made a cardboard cutout of him. I had a cardboard cutout of him in my house for the longest time, which was hilarious. Our dog was really scared of it. But it was actually, I got a photo of him from our wedding where he was in a tuxedo. And we were planning on bringing this like to the wedding so he could be in the pictures because he obviously was not going to be able to miss this travel, this trip. Right. So, I mean, thankfully it worked out where that show got canceled because of COVID. So he was, and you know, she was just like the last wedding, you know, before that venue got shut down. So he was able to be there. But I mean, there are a lot of events where I had a Friendsgiving just this last November where I'm the only one with a kid. I'm the only one, you know, everybody else has spouses but trying to keep those social networks going, build those relationships and keep those relationships going.
Keep your village because you need your village too.
Like the temptation could really be that, oh gosh, he's, you know, at work so frequently and I can just stay at home with Magnus, but really trying to make sure that we're getting out there and staying present, being there and you know, getting the birthday presents and the birthday cards and all the fun things, the dinners and
explain a little bit, because again, that's just basic everyday foundational life for you. And then now there's the ups and downs of just the seasons, the schooling, the stuff that like, yes, they won this, or we fell short, or we have the parents that this is an issue, or the students that this is an issue. Like very obviously, as spouses, we talk about what's happening in our job and all the things. And without obviously giving away stories about what's really happening, what does that look like in your life? Because we have the foundation of here's what our routine's going to look like and we're going to try and make it work. But then all of a sudden this was a really hard season, or this is a really hard group of kids, or this is great and look at all the amazing things we get to do. And so I'm sure as with every marriage, you have the highs and the lows and all the things, but you bring on that kind of extra 120 kids plus parents into the emotional stuff that comes home.
Unless you have juicy gossip on Chris Flynn,
then you can also share
Scott
that too.
Lang or Ryan Shonchek, then we want to hear
totally
it.
do that.
oh gosh, man. Are they troublemakers?
No, I know, right?
Gosh.
Well, I know you're thinking big picture, but I feel like for us, when, you know, especially because we were at the same school and both teaching there too, like I was very much involved. And I think you were really, really involved before Magnus came along, and because you were able to be around a lot more. But so you know all the ins and outs as it's occurring too, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about all that stuff. You know all the kids, you know all the families. And so you're really a sounding board, don't you think, for, hey, this is what happened. Did I handle this correctly? Or do you think, what do you think about this situation? And so just somebody like that they're using to bounce ideas off, and
yes,
the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you probably do reflect on it at the end of the season, right? Of how was this season, but it almost feels like, I don't know if about you, but I feel like it was more like day to day, moment by moment that you're getting through all of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, and it does change so much throughout the year. I think it can be such a roller coaster sometimes. And here's the thing. So, his schedule is so full that it's crazy. I do know a lot of the kids and a lot of the parents. I used to know them a lot more before Magnus. Sometimes I'm still, now that we have the toddler and the baby, first of all, my memory's not as great.
Amen.
And,
Amen.
He's telling me the same kid's name over and over. And I feel so embarrassed that I don't, because I used to have a really, really good memory. I could get their name.
Mom brain. It just is. It's a thing.
It's so hard. Or, there's parents that I know really well, and they knew me before I had Magnus, and now, they'll try to have a conversation with me and it'll be very patchy because I'm running after a toddler. So it's like, hey, wait a minute. Or I'm still trying to introduce myself to new parents and meet the freshman parents. And I'm like, gosh, I am not at my A game right now. I really do care about you and your kids, And so I do kind of hear the stories. Sometimes I don't always have the face to the names, but I do hear about them. But it is difficult because his schedule is so jam-packed that I'm getting it in bits and pieces most times. So he doesn't always have time. We're not sitting down at dinner and talking about this every day.
True.
I get him usually Sunday and Wednesday. Those are our days, And if that, because sometimes Sunday is sleeping and catching up on sleep after a crazy competition night, or building a prop, or, handling some kind of parental email. Or planning for the next week, schedule rehearsals. And same thing Wednesday night. Sometimes there's events, or things like that. So usually it's like, I'll get a text here, oh gosh, but something that we have found that really works for us is, a lot of during the fall and winter season, it's after rehearsal, Magnus is asleep, he's getting home at 9:30, 10, and we're up until midnight just chatting about stuff. That's usually when we get to download all the information and really share. But being able to be that sounding board, and honestly just that kind of safe, non-judgmental space of just tell me everything that's going on. I'm here for you, And then also I kind of get the privilege and the honor of being able to hold space for both parties. So sometimes, when he says, gosh, I'm having such a hard time, I can be like, hey, have you remembered or thought about lately that they are teenagers? And that, maybe as the adult, you get to help them walk through this emotional difficulty with compassion. And I mean, honestly, Miles is such a great teacher. He is very compassionate, but in those moments when you're really in the thick of it, it's nice to have someone who can kind of remind you a little bit of like, you're not crazy. This part's really hard, but here's this, have you considered?
Well,
their brains aren't fully
formed. Right. Well, as parents of teenagers, we can attest to, I have a hard time with just one,
Right.
So he has 120 of those emotional bodies that are going through, we talked about this before, the biggest, the second biggest growth time of their entire lives. So, I mean, he's amazing.
Right. And then he comes home to the first biggest growth thing of their life of being a toddler.
Exactly. The toddler.
But I do want to say, as a parent, I love when you come to the competition.
Absolutely.
And I know you're always like, oh, I'm sorry. We've all been there. We love having Magnus around because we don't have to deal with that anymore. And we're happy to share in that crazy with you and carry the stroller and give him a ride and go on the train and do all the things because we're not there anymore and we miss it.
We miss it.
And we know what it's like to be there. And so it's like, I am so happy to help whenever. And we know how great it is, certainly, for you to be there to see it and do it and whatever. So I want to lay that out there. That absolutely we're there to help.
That always those are some of my favorite memories now. It means so much to me. Also, just because I just love, gosh, that state finals when you guys were just kind of like passing Magnus around and he was just having so much fun. At Disneyland when Miles had to go handle a student issue or something. And
I think it was my son, actually.
It might have been.
He lost his ticket and
right.
and then he found it in his wallet.
You know what, though? Also, shout out to Alex, the assistant director, because he is incredible. Mm-hmm. He told us later that he had handled many more students of that because he wanted Miles to have time in the park with his son.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That was so generous of him. So that was only like one of 10 or something. But I was alone in Disneyland, right? And all of a sudden, all these band parents come up, and I've got Cheez-Its and a phone charger and milk, and they're holding Magnus, and that just warms my heart so much. But yeah, there's so many moments that it's so funny because when Miles has school breaks, it'll be like, oh, this is what it's like for normal families, because I'm alone grocery shopping, and Magnus, when he was a baby, he would have a blowout or something, and you're handling that alone, and you're like, gosh, I just would love to have a second pair of hands. Mm-hmm. So yeah, honestly, it's so nice to have you guys around when you do that.
Well,
so
here's the thing is, and we've talked about this before too, like it's a band family. And so you are a part of that band family. So that's, and I know as the wife of the band director, I felt like that. Like this is a big group of people. And I'm sure, like you said, you have been through years and years of all these kids. And so I'm sure they reach out to you. They're part of your extended family and they always will be. They'll be in your life. I can attest forever. Like we still have kids that, reach out to us and that invite us to weddings. And we actually just went to a funeral of a booster parent.
Aren't those so hard?
It's just, that's, you're in those people's lives and you're in our lives forever.
Yeah.
That's
forever.
We're all connected.
For better or for worse.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, this is a perfect segue into from the Bandwives perspective of watching their husbands' students grow. I know, Leah, you've got teenagers and like we've talked about, one in college actually, but Libby, you have a 2-year-old. And so, we've got the teenagers. We miss those small moments and the chaos, but looking from a wife's perspective and watching those kids grow from their high school careers or even junior high into high school, how's that feel? What does that look like?
Don't you think, because you've been there for a while, like you said, you see them come in as freshmen and they're doing crazy things. They're small, especially I always think the boys look so different. They're so little.
Yes.
And then, by the time they're seniors, it's like almost like a different person, right?
Yes.
That growth that happens from their freshman year to their senior year, it's amazing to be able to watch.
This is Zoomers. You guys can turn off the podcast, but this is probably that millennial cringe, but I get so weepy at those final shows because it's not just my kid marching, right? I know everything that those students overcame. I know the adversity that, Miles went through, that that kid lost a parent or that kid, was having trouble socially, or like I've heard all those stories and, we've come alongside those families and to see them at that final show, I'm always just like, I tear up because I'm just so proud of them. And especially from, freshman year to senior year, it makes me want to cry. I don't want those kids to leave, but I'm so proud when they do. And I'm so excited to see what they're going to accomplish. And I just know that they're, some of the best people. I love our kids. They're the greatest.
Cry.
I think last year, our band banquet hit me pretty hard because, we were kind of involved Ava's freshman year. I've spoken about it on previous Band Mom podcasts, reeling my husband in. But last year, we really got close with some seniors. And then at the banquet, just that, like, we're talking about that emotional piece. But what really got me last year was Miles, our director, because he was very emotional, giving out those awards.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's heartbreaking.
We talk about, he'll tell me, because last year I was helping him with the awards because he prints them out. So I was helping him like organize them and get them in. And I get to have the fun of being oh my gosh, they're getting that award. Oh, I love that kid. That's so great. Or like, hey, you snubbed this group. This person needs to, I get to say my piece, which is fine, because I don't see it 24/7 like he does, but yeah, I still have an opinion. And he gets to know it. So yeah, it's seeing them. And I mean, gosh, even just thinking about, I know when they were in Dayton last year, I wasn't able to be there, but Miles did give a speech at I think it was like right before finals.
It was right. Yes, it was right the night before finals or something, is after they found out.
They made it.
Then he gave a speech in the lobby. Yeah, I watched it and I cried.
He sent it to me and I'm crying, because I'm just like, gosh, this is a dream that we both carried for, 10 years to get here, right? Like we have given so many, as a family, we've sacrificed and given so many hours to this. And like, also just thinking about, I mean, these kids, every student who's in the program takes it a little bit farther, right? Like, and I think I've told some of the students that before of like, gosh, you guys are standing on the shoulders of those kids who walked before you, and what a privilege, but also how amazing that you get to leave your mark. You get to take it that little bit farther and to see them do it, and to see them just continue to push and grow. And yeah, I get really weepy. I loved the banquet. I have a little one, and all of my babysitters are band kids, so I can never go.
Dang it.
But yeah, it's just to be able to celebrate their achievements, and yeah, it's a privilege to get to know so many stories and know so many kids and be able to cheer them on. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you talked a little bit about each, group standing on the shoulders of the ones from the past. And the 10 years for Dayton, that was a dream of Miles. Sounds like a dream of yours as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he always, would talk about it like, gosh, I really want to do this. And I mean, yeah, his dreams become my dreams. We carry it together. We're the team, and I make sure that he, we're taken care of so he can do what he needs to do. And he does that for me too. So, it's the same. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I was part of it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I love that.
It was so good.
And the state championship that we had, that was also a really big dream. And I don't know, he does set goals for himself. He doesn't tell anybody. Sometimes he doesn't even tell me. He'll tell me occasionally, or after it happens, he'll be like, yeah, that was a goal that I had at the beginning of the season.
Wow.
I think because he just doesn't want to put the pressure on the kids and make them feel like it's theirs, but he really does. He's a machine. He's always like, I want to have that personal goal that I'm chasing after, or else I'm not gonna, it's a way to motivate him.
Absolutely. Because otherwise every year could seem even though it's new kids, it could seem very monotonous. Like, we're chasing the same 5th place. You know what I mean? Like, even if it is your own, and even if it doesn't happen because maybe now it's 4th place. Well, I didn't get to 1st, but I got better or whatever. And to your point of not really letting the kids know it, because I know he doesn't even want them to focus on scores. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about that. And if I can end in a good season with a good group of kids, check mark, I was successful. Now, if I can also meet my own personal goal, high five, even better.
I know he does like to try to like explain the scores to the kids so they understand, this is the way that they look at you, but this is also the way that I look at you. And this is what, we can be proud of. And so, yeah, he does really try. If he has personal goals about that stuff, he doesn't often share it with the kids. He usually doesn't share it with me either until after. Yeah.
Very personal.
Yeah.
But I want to get into the fun stuff. Are you ready to get into the fun stuff?
Fun stuff.
The most unpredictable band related moments. That sounds kind of fun and crazy. And I'll say, when I say emergencies, we don't have to HIPAA. We don't have to like talk about whatever, but what, you can even use Peyton because I know he was one of them, but like what emergencies, what crazy behind the scene things have you seen or had to be part of that parents just wouldn't know? Because by the time we're sitting in the stands, we walk out, or the students walk out, you don't even know what's happening. And you're like, all right, they're all good. Whatever. Here we go.
Well, I would love to hear Leah, because I do think Miles has a particular brand of bad luck.
It does.
And this is true. We actually we call it the Denny curse, because
I mentioned that before. Yeah.
In his personal life as well, which can be especially challenging when he's not always available and I'm handling things.
And you're dealing with the curse and it's not him. Oh no.
So I would love to hear what Leah has to say.
I don't know. I was trying to think of something. I think like when you're the spouse or you're really, you're there for everything. You're like the nurse and the mom and sometimes the friend or the teacher. You play all these different roles for those kids because you're not around all the time, and usually they really like you because, they really like, the director and then the director really likes you. And so they just accept you. I feel like,
yes.
I mean, that's how I felt anyway.
And it's so nice to be the wife because you don't have to do any discipline.
Right.
You get to just show up and have fun.
There you go.
Fun one and silly or whatever. And so I feel like they are really open with you. I can't think of anything like a crazy emergency off the top of my head because again, it was so long ago. It was 20 years ago. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the random things that I have bought in grocery stores, just there's so many. Miles does have a really particular brand of bad luck. I think we were his first year going to BOA in Flagstaff, like the semi broke or something. And this actually, he told me this is the moment when he realized he needed to learn how to weld because I want to say it was like 1:00 in the morning. We had a band dad out there like welding the trailer so that we could go to Flagstaff. Meanwhile, me and his sister are getting prepared to sleep on sleeping bags, on a floor of a YMCA because we didn't have a hotel booked for the students.
Oh no.
There was like a medical emergency with the other directors. So there was some, things that had gotten lost in terms of like the trip planning. So, Miles kind of just stepped in and was like, hey, we're going to take care of this. So yeah, I mean, there's so many, or yes, I'm giving Pepto-Bismol to kids or,
right.
Saying, hey, let's make sure that we get this food, or I'm going to go, drive and get this food. I actually have a really funny story about food.
Okay.
And it has to do with some incredible band parents. So another crazy thing of bad luck, I don't know if, so it would have been before your time.
Okay.
Basha was able to go to the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, and Miles, again, this
I've
is
heard
when
stories of this trip.
Miles was the assistant director. There was a medical emergency / student discipline issue that happened on the parade route. So Miles was told by his admin that he had to, stay back in the hotel with the student until the parents were able to come and pick them up. Meanwhile, the other director had something like 102-degree fever, was nowhere to be found. And so they finally were able to get him to the buses. At this point, I think they're like 1 or 2 hours late to get to the actual Holiday Bowl.
Oh no.
When they get there, it's pouring rain. So this poor director is like covered. I think he covered himself in a blanket with this fever and is just, miserable. Miles is staying at the hotel room. The students are in this rainy, stadium, and there's no food. Like the bears, the parents that feed the bears, they were supposed to be able to feed them before they went into the stadium, but they couldn't, right?
Yeah.
It was the timing, it was too late. So funny thing, band parents are the best because literally we had 2 band parents who looked at each other and were like, these kids are going to eat tonight.
Yep.
So they had 120 Subway sandwiches that they were chucking over the wall to the kids.
Oh my God.
And every student got a sandwich and those bears were fed.
That's awesome. That is the band family right there. We talked about that before.
There may or may not have been a beer garden nearby.
Well,
they were like, all right,
needed that then.
Let's get this done. But I mean, it's just, even, gosh, in Dayton, the semi got stuck in the mud. And I mean, so many nuts, crazy things. Yeah.
I think when you join our band family, specifically Basha, you just know to expect something is going to go wrong.
I would imagine it's probably all band families.
So.
You think
because,
so?
Well, because the one, we talked about this before, the one band in Texas that their truck got hit by a train and they all did. So I feel like, I imagine as parents, if you're not, this is a great reason to get involved too, by the way. If you're someone like me that likes to know the behind the scene things and all of, I'm not going to say gossip because that's not very nice, but know all the things. go do some of this
Well,
stuff.
and
Go
also-
feed the bears and you get to see it all.
You might have more fun than your kids. I mean,
Right.
there are a lot of fun situations. Like, yeah, let's go, start chucking sandwiches across
Right?
those things.
Who thought
Like,
we would
that's
be going and painting a house before we had to take it on 30,
100%.
like whatever.
Or,
Like
a bird cage doesn't fit through the basketball gym doors. Who knew?
Who
so, yeah, we
knew?
got to figure out how to saw this in half and get it done,
Well, it is an intense activity, right? I mean, it's a really intense activity with so many different moving parts. And like we said, all those different people, all the different things that are happening all the time. So something is bound to go wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And there's, like you said, there's everything from props and do the lights turn on? Do things connect to how many pieces of a uniform these kids
Or-
have to remember?
Helium's not allowed on the, on the floor. Or also live animals. That was an issue that we had.
Oh,
You can't have live animals in the gym. I mean, I think what's crazy and what is so amazing about this activity is, yes, there's lots of opportunities for different things to go wrong, but there's also a lot of parents who have, special talents and are incredibly creative and so generous and resourceful that when they offer their talents and they get to be a part of this team and a part of this community, like, we grow stronger for it. And honestly, there's been so many things that have happened where if the parents hadn't stepped up and been there or been creative and resourceful in that moment, we wouldn't have made it through.
Mhm.
I mean, for as incredible as my husband is, like, we need everybody. And
well, yeah, because the CEO can't run everything.
no,
Right.
Can't be in charge of
Right.
everything and do everything. He has to delegate and let people be in charge. Like you're saying, I think that's really an important thing for parents to hear, is that you have special talents. So let the band know what those are,
Yes.
so
Yes.
that you can do your thing. Like, we're not asking you to do something that you're not comfortable with. We want you to do something that you are comfortable with and really good at to help us.
Yes.
Yes.
It makes
and-
us stronger.
like I said, like, so much of what, these band directors, they are having to figure it out and put on different hats and do
Yes.
things that they're not maybe naturally gifted at. And so if that is something that you have a talent for, usually, or at least in our experience, it's been that there have been parents who have taken something on and they do it better than Miles ever would. I mean, gosh, here's this amazing podcast, right? Or, we had a parent who took over pit pushing and it's so organized and it's so great. And, or, we have parents who build props and gosh, they have the best ideas. Miles can say, I kind of want it to look like this. And they find a way to make it happen. So
And then the next week, Miles says, I kind of want it to look like this and I have to fix it. I'm just kidding.
there's that too. Hey, I'm just so grateful it's not in my garage anymore. One winter break, Miles built a synth cart in my garage, welded it. It was, and it's so much fun to see what the neighbors say too, because they'll be like, what does this person do? Or in our old neighborhood, he used to bring the semi sometimes because it would just be such a late night driving all these different things back and forth. And it was like, is your husband a truck driver? It's like, sometimes.
Yes, kind of. That's one half.
Yes, and
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go back to the live animals.
I
What was
thinking
that?
right?
yeah.
What were you trying to do?
Stay tuned to this channel. There's a lot of excitement coming your way.
To get in touch with the band moms, send us an email to feedback@bandadspodcast.com. Put in all caps, attention band moms, so Scott Lang knows this isn't for him. You can also click send us a text at the top of the episode description and it will open your messaging app on your phone so you can text us your feedback. The Band Moms podcast is a 5 Deuce Media production. For more information, please visit 5deucemedia.com. For more information on Scott Lang leadership and solutions for music education, visit scottlang.net.